Listen, I don't know. Gotta change the way it's going down. Fell in love with this fish who got caught in my mesh. But yo, she burned my scene up like David Koresh. I guess a diamond ain't nothing but a rock with a name. I guess love ain't nothing but emotion and game. It's the lesson well learned, cause praise is well due. I'm sending off a big out to Kenny Cow. And at a reservation for the resident crew. And yo, get your bowl, cause we cooking up stew. See, them Cubans don't care what y'all niggas do. Colombians ain't never ran with your crew. While you acting all spicy and shiesty. The only Italians you knew was ices. Niggas price me, I'm keeping it clean like a washing machine. Hey yo, get your locomotion running to full steam. I'm sending out a greeting to my man Dasim. I got a child, so I got to get the green, right? If money makes a man strange, we got to rearrange that. What makes the world go round? Love is against the law. Listen, I don't know. Gotta change the way it's going down. If money makes a man strange.
Sounds wrong. Can you relate to my system's open enough to make your heart scream? Yo, let me take it from here, queen. It's easy, but I think about you. To get into perspective, I am about to do. I say it's your culture and the ones who have the clue. So listen very carefully as I break it down for you. I'm happy you for doing. Please, with all the beats around us, this is ever good. Singers move away down, the sound totally a yes. We take a position. Ladies first, yes? Yes. Believe me when I say being a woman is graciously. I know the Lord will tell us that, but will agree with me. Not the real one, but the real one. One is when it's not the loving, it's the woman that gives us strong. Stepping, strutting, moving, on, rhyming, cutting, and not forgetting. We are the ones to give birth to the new generation of prophets, cause it's late.
When Harriet Tubman died of pneumonia in 1913, so many people came out to see her they couldn't even fit in the 500 capacity church. And there were people outside as far as you could see. Now we know that Tubman freed at least 70 people on at least 13 different occasions, selflessly risking her own freedom to help others gain theirs. And there's this quote attributed to her that says, "I could have freed more if they only knew they were enslaved." Tubman was known to carry a pistol not only for slave catchers, but for anyone thinking about turning back, because she never wanted to risk the whole group for one deserter who might be tortured for information. Nicknamed General Tubman, she was the first woman in U.S. history to lead an armed military campaign. During a plantation raid in the Civil War, she navigated through a mine-filled river. She then led an all-black group of soldiers who sent Confederates running in fear. They burned plantations to the ground and freed at least 700 enslaved people. And for this reason, Tubman was buried with full military honors. And her final words were, "I go away now to prepare a place for you." And you can go beyond the sanitized myths about Harriet Tubman by reading my book, The Humanity Archive, Recovering the Soul of Black History from a Whitewashed American Myth.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you for joining me here for Conversations with Taz, and this is the Sunday Sit Down. And just a reminder, this is Women's History Month. So if you don't have her She is Strength merch, make sure you visit us at Tazisms misc.com. Let's jump right into the thick of it. The thick of it. And what better way to open up tonight's show talking about women's history than to talk about the anti-woman, she-man, haters club president, Andrew Tate. Yes. We have some updates on him. Let's get into it.
So I have made this post 3 times, and whatever moderator is moderating me is real fucking triggered, and he's a Tatalina tater tot. Andrew Tate has cancer. Yeah. CT report. He's got cancer. Could be incurable. It's just terrible. Nebsy is just beside himself with grief. Barely hold back the tears. You know, any alpha male, would smoke right through that. Hashtag alpha male.
He's also reportedly requested a PlayStation and a hairstylist. He's is if prison in a foreign country is a country club. But as always, coming from Marca.com, MARCA.com, another setback for Andrew Tate. He and his brother Tristan will be detained in Romania for 30 more days. Ooh, they just keep tossing 30 days at him like dollars at a strip club. Romanian court on Monday upheld a third 30-day detention for the divisive influencer and former professional kickboxer Andrew Tate, who is held on suspicion of organized crime and human trafficking, an official said. Excuse me. Tate lost his appeal against a judge's February 21st decision to extend his arrest a third time for 30 days, according to Ramona Bola, a spokesperson for Romania's anti-organized crime agency, DICOT. Tate, 36, a British U.S. citizen known for his misogynistic views, who has 5.2 million Twitter followers, arrived at the Bucharest Court of Appeal handcuffed to his brother Tristan, who is held in the same case. Bola said prosecutors also won an appeal Monday against the court's decision last week to place 2 women held in the case under house arrest instead of in full detention. None of the 4 has yet been formally charged. To quote Muscles Nursing on TikTok and Twitter, I love this for them. Now, from one idiot misogynist to the next. Looks like Trump just keeps getting exposed. Oh, this 2024 election cycle is going to be chef's kiss. Looks like he got busted paying people off. Don't believe me? Just watch.
A trio of witnesses being called as whistleblowers by the GOP committee investigating the weaponization of government were paid off by a Trump ally and spread conspiracy theories, reported the New York Times on Thursday. The first 3 witnesses to testify privately before the new Republican-led House committee investigating the weaponization of the federal government have offered little first-hand knowledge of any wrongdoing or violation of the law, according to Democrats on the panel who have listened to their accounts, reported Luke Broadwater and Adam Goldman. Instead, the trio appears to be a group of aggrieved former FBI officials who have trafficked in right-wing conspiracy theories, including about the January 6, 2021, attack at the Capitol, and received financial support from a top ally of former President Donald J. Trump. The roster of witnesses whose interviews and statements are detailed in a 316-page report compiled by Democrats that was obtained by the New York Times suggests that Representative Jim Jordan of Ohio, the chairman of the panel, has so far relied on people who do not meet the definition of a whistleblower and who have engaged in partisan conduct that calls into question their credibility, said the report, and it raises questions about whether Republicans, who have said that investigating the Biden administration is a top goal, will be able to deliver on their ambitious plans to uncover misdeeds at the highest levels. The 3 witnesses in question, per the report, are George Hill, a retired FBI supervisory intelligence analyst from the Bureau's Boston field office, Stephen Friend, a former special agent who worked in the Daytona Beach office, and Garrett O'Boyle, a special agent from the field office in Wichita, Kansas, who has been suspended. Related, Jim Jordan stumbles big time desperately seeking imagined deep state whistleblowers. They have promoted conspiracy theories. Hill wrote on Twitter that the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol was a set-up. Meanwhile, O'Boyle and friend have admitted to receiving financial aid from Kash Patel, a former aide to Representative Devin Nunes, RCA, and Trump associate who has testified in the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case. The Democratic report includes excerpts from depositions and evidence of conspiratorial social media posts, noted the report. It also details the ties between Mr. Trump's inner circle and the witnesses. For instance, Mr. Patel found Mr. Friend his next job working as a fellow on domestic intelligence and security services with the Center for Renewing America, which is run by Russ Vought. The center is largely funded by the Conservative Partnership Institute, which is run by Mark Meadows, Mr. Trump's former chief of staff, and former Senator Jim DeMint of South Carolina.
Now, who stole what? Who attempted to steal what now? But Trump's nemesis, you know what? They went from being such bosom besties to this. But they have one major thing in common. Grifting, well, not one, but they have grifting, they have lying, and stupid constituents. Let's take a look at the whole Ron DeSantis Florida Disney debacle.
You're absolutely right. Disney will not leave Florida. I had to Google this because I wanted to know what Disney's footprint was in Florida. And I was staggered. It's 47 square miles. Now, if you consider the Vatican in Italy, Vatican City, which has its own legislative area, the Vatican runs itself. It's a little mini country inside Italy. It is a fraction of the size of the Disney footprint in Florida. Disney's not going anywhere. Disney's just going to let the Florida taxpayer pay for its roads and its water supplies and its lawns and shit like that. But if I was the board of Disney, I would consider just fucking with Ron DeSantis a little bit. And I'd just buy, I don't know, 1,000 acres of land in California. Just buy a couple of square miles of land in California. Don't do anything with it, just buy it. And cite it as a new opportunity in a new state. And watch how fast Ronnie's clench.
So Disney loses self-governing status. The state of
As a lefty that believes that corporations have way too much control over the Republican Party, why am I suddenly thinking this is wonderful that Ron DeSantis is picking a fight with corporations? And not just any corporations. The mouse. He's picking a fight with the mouse. He's decided that corporations' tax exemption and tax fiddling is a problem for Florida, and he's going to sort it out. So little Ronnie DeSantis has decided he wants to go corner to corner with Mickey Mouse. I'll have $400 on Mickey, please, and I'm a lefty.
Now remember, the Republican Party, specifically conservative Republicans, are saying that they're the party of small government and you can't tell private corporations or private run businesses what to do and who they can serve and what they can put out there. Unless you're not putting out what conservatives deem as conservative content, if you're not doing what the conservatives want. This is why there is a petition going around to remove DeSantis from office and bar him from running for president. I say, let him run. Let Trump and DeSantis duke it out with everybody else, once again, that are throwing their hat into the 2024 presidential campaign on the side of the GOP. Because we know the last time there were 11,000 of them, and everything was just so divided and just, oh, they always get so verklempt with one another. And especially since their whole LGBTQIA plus is wrong, trans is wrong, drag are groomers. Isn't it funny that it's the ultra MAGAs that are coming out as predatory? But I mean, their leader is extremely predatory, and then their secondary leader, DeSantis, we found that when he was a teacher, that's why he doesn't want to talk about being a teacher. He was predatory also. It's probably still predatory to this day because there's not like a light switch you can cut on and off at will. Oh, y'all think that I'm joking? Let's take a look.
Under the charges held against you.
Ryan Utterback did not speak Thursday as he showed up to the Clay County Courthouse. Utterback faces a felony charge of second-degree child molestation, a misdemeanor charge of furnishing pornographic material or attempting to furnish to a minor, and another misdemeanor for fourth-degree domestic assault from incidents that started in 2020.
Do you have anything to say at all?
Thursday, Utterback chose not to speak about those charges against him. KMBC Non Investigate started looking into Utterback's case after sources told KMBC in November he spoke against books in North Kansas City school libraries showing sexual acts. That evening, board members listened to students who spoke in favor of not banning books.
You know, I definitely understand their struggles, and it's not lost on me. But again, those conversations are to be had at home, and only I have the intimate understanding of what is and isn't appropriate for my children.
KMBC also discovered video of this October 2021 North Kansas City Schools board meeting. Utterback held signs KMBC has blurred showing drawings of sexual acts depicted in a book.
To a minor, or read or give any.
Utterback was standing behind the president of the Northland Parent Association, Jay Richmond, as Richmond spoke against keeping that specific book in school libraries. Richmond on Friday told KMBC Ryan was an attendee at the board meeting. I needed help holding a presentation, and he helped. He also said, I can't comment on the alleged charges against him because I have no knowledge about them, and they have nothing to do with me or the Northland Parent Association. Utterback's attorney, meanwhile, had no comment about the charges. Utterback's next court appearance is in March. Matt Fleener, KMBC 9.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Did you see a drag queen? Did you see a member of the LGBTQIA plus community? You didn't? And before you go, well, Taz, you just repeated the same thing twice. No, because you can be a drag performer and not be a member of the LGBTQIA plus community. Shocking. Shocking. But legitimately, every single day, those that are projecting, we get a clear picture as to why they're projecting. But a creeper gon' creep, and a creeper gon' creep. Now, let's break things up with just a tad bit of humor, because we do have some more really tough topics to get through. If you've noticed that your algorithm is being taken over by mean girl Hailey Bieber and a few of the Kardashian crew and her friends coming after Selena Gomez, here's a little hee-haw that you should find funny, especially in lieu that Justin Bieber just recently celebrated a birthday. Dust off your funny bone.
I couldn't even enjoy my birthday because the love of my life was being bullied on social media. You don't have to worry, Justin. I'm okay. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Selena. You're the bully, bitch. Selena, come home.
I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be a mature adult. Said no one ever. Now, remember, Ohio Governor Mike DeWine was telling people that it was okay to drink the water, and they were pretending to drink water out of the tap at a woman's house, and they cut out the part where she said that wasn't her water. Then recently, just a few days ago, there was a recall on water that was sourced near the train derailment, and all sorts of things are just going to pot. Well, he has decided to go back to the silent film era, baby. He is mute than a motherfucker.
So, Governor, why would you tell people it's safe to come back to East Palestine and then recommend they drink bottled water? You don't know the answer to that one either. Okay, what do you say about the doctors that are reporting an increase in symptoms, an increase in doctor visits from the... Yeah, you're doing good at this, bud. And you knocked my camera. All right, so you're not going to comment on the doctors either, I guess, right? Are they lying?
Now, did you pay attention to how docile and feeble he became when he didn't want to answer the questions? He's the head man in charge for the state of Ohio. But all of a sudden, did you see his body language? And, oh, I'm just an old man. I'm just an old man. Be nice to me. See, white women can weaponize their tears. White men will weaponize their age. Now, we're all familiar at this point with QAnon and their crazed conspiracy theories that make absolutely positively zero sense. We're also very familiar, just like we just talked just a few minutes earlier, about the grand old party, grifting on purpose conservatives of the Republican Party and their connection to predatory behavior, predators, molesters, sex traffickers, etc. But what if I told you there was one person that embodied them both? I wish I was joking. I wish this was satire. But y'all know, as much as I wish I was more creative than the reality that we are living in this current dystopia. This one's a long one. Turn up your volume. You're going to need a beverage and a snack. And get ready to clutch your pearls, y'all.
Everyone, welcome to the show. So Deborah Sullivan is someone you probably haven't heard of. I hadn't heard of her before, but she apparently has become somewhat famous in QLoon circles. She has a combined 10,000 followers on social media, and she calls herself the QAnon meme queen. This is because she's created and shared over 4,500 memes about this conspiracy theory. And clearly this woman has nothing better to do. Sullivan is all in on this lunacy. She truly believes that Donald Trump is working behind the scenes to bring down the non-existent cabal of child predator Democrats. It seems, though, that while Sullivan was focused on Democrats and her memes, she failed to see the fox in her own henhouse, because Sullivan's son, Michael Aaron Wall, was just convicted in early February this month of repeatedly sexually abusing his stepdaughter since 2015, when she was just 9 years old. Deborah Sullivan, though, doesn't believe it. All of a sudden, she doesn't care so much about saving the children from pedophiles. In fact, Sullivan has now attacked her son's victim on social media. She called her a, quote, horrible liar. And now she's asking her social media followers to help her free her son. And she posted a message on Trump's Truth Social asking him for help. Sullivan wrote to Trump, the guy who's supposed to take down the pedophiles. And she said, quote, "Dear Mr. Real President, AKA Q+, that's what they call him. My name is Deborah Sullivan, AKA the meme queen. I am an OG Anon, and I desperately need your help. I need you to be my Batman. This spiritual battle has entrapped my son with false accusations of child sexual assault. She went on to say, quote, "Respectfully, sir, Q said our families would be safe. My son is not safe, and neither are his sons or any other innocent man or woman for that matter. Please have someone put eyes on this case immediately." Then on Telegram, Sullivan told her followers that her son's in a Canadian jail and he, quote, "is not safe. He is being threatened by the Aryan Brotherhood who think he's a pedophile." Yeah, kind of, because he is. Sullivan has also reached out to popular Q figures, people you guys will know, like Mike Lindell, Dan Bongino, attorney Lynn Wood. Sullivan, however, has failed to mention to any of these people the details, the vile details about her son's case. They are incredibly disturbing. So if you guys don't want to hear it, here's your chance to like mute it or whatever. But Vice News got a hold of Wall's court documents, and they report that Wall's wife first discovered this abuse in 2018. She walked in on them. She walked in on her daughter and Wall, and her 12-year-old daughter was sitting on Wall's lap with her bra undone. Initially, the two of them claimed that nothing was going on, but then the following day, she spoke with her daughter privately, and her daughter admitted that, yes, he touched her breasts and that he had raped her in the past. That year, Wall was charged with 5 counts of child sexual abuse, including rape. And in 2019, they added 2 additional charges. On February 9th of this year, 2023, the jury found Wall guilty on 2 of the 7 counts of child abuse. Sadly, he was sentenced to only 5 years in prison and $5,000 in fines. He destroyed this child's life. He likely destroyed her future. He may have completely ruined her entire life, and he gets 5 years. That's it. These sick fucks get off so easy. And Mommy Dearest still doesn't realize she raised a pedo. The exact type of person that she and her QAnon followers claim to loathe. They claim to want to round these people up and execute them. And she doesn't believe it. Nope. No, she wants him out of prison. And I have news for her. I have been on the other end of this type of stuff. I have been on the other end of someone like her son. I've gone through the legal system, and I can tell you with 100% certainty, they do not file charges unless they know for a fact that this person is guilty and that they can win. Even if they know he's guilty, but they think that maybe there's a chance they can't prove it 100%, they won't bring charges unless there is irrefutable evidence like an eyewitness, or if they can get the guy on tape admitting to his crimes. They will not bring the case. It's sick, but prosecutors don't want to lose. I hate to say it. There's some good people out there, but there's too many of them who are looking out for number one. They're looking for their next move to a high-priced law firm. They want the wins. So she needs to face the fact that her son is a convicted pedophile because he's guilty. These people only care about it when it's not, when it's somebody that they don't like. If it's someone they like, someone they care about, no, they have to be innocent. Just like the Trump allegations, the rape allegations against him. They refuse to believe it. Epstein, he's vile. Yes, he is. He was a monster. He deserved to be buried under the jail. But when it's Bill Clinton, they're all in. When it's anybody on the left, they're all in. When it's someone that they like, someone they know, they don't care about the children. They have no principles. It is a phony excuse to go after Democrats. And I think a lot of them know it. I think they use this as an excuse. But when it comes to the CPAC guy, when it comes to the Right to Life guy, when it comes to any of their politicians who have been caught, who have been put in prison, or there's accusations against them like Brett Kavanaugh, no, not our side. We're good Christians.
There are a few things from this clip. I know it was a longer clip, but I did warn you beforehand that I want y'all to pay attention to. The woman who is defending her horrendous son is a self-proclaimed QAnon meme queen. You know, when I keep telling you all, they know that they're lying. They know that they're sharing lies. They know that they're perpetuating lies. This woman reached out to people telling them how many memes she's created to push forth conspiracy theories. So did you think she wasn't going to be in La La Land when it came to her son? Her son that was caught red-handed assaulting a child, who assaulted a child for roughly 8 to 9 years. But she wants to reach out to those that she knows are okay with this behavior to get him exonerated. She's, save the children until it's a child that her son has eyes for. And when you all say that I'm reaching and I'm being too harsh on the boomer generation, not all of them, but certain components of the boomer generation and the silent generation, it's because that's how they grew up. They grew up thinking that this shit was okay. See, they talk about their grandmothers and great-grandmothers sticking with their grandfathers and great-grandfathers, and they ignore the fact that these women were groomed and forced into marriage, that these women were raped and sexually assaulted and abused and suffered marital rape for the entirety of their adult lives, starting from adolescence. Why do you think the GOP wants to continue to roll back time if they could find a way? They don't want to take back the hurt and the pain. They want to bring back the hurt and pain. Why do you think there are so many men and so many women raised by boomers in the silent generation that don't understand, or I'm sorry, they understand, don't want to admit coercion is assault? Let's get into the ad, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about Chris Rock's bitch assness. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. And if you're a Chris Rock fan, I don't give two shits nor one fuck. Okay? I don't have it in me. And I'm going to break this shit down for you because I'm pretty sure some of y'all just sit back. Go refresh your beverages. Go refresh your snacks. Because after this ad, it's about to go down. You done fucked around, you about to find out. Now, we all remember the infamous smack heard around the world where Chris Rock, for the umpteenth thousand time, disrespected a black woman, and her husband came up and was like, you know what? Y'all keep talking about protect black women. Let me show you how you protect a black woman. And Will Smith he slapped the taste out of Chris Rock's mouth. Now, a bunch of y'all are like, he shouldn't have done that. Yes, he should have. Because y'all will sit here online and cap and say, if this would happen to my mama, if this would happen to my sister, my daughter, my girlfriend, my wife, my and Will Smith did it in 4K in real time and said, keep my wife's name out your motherfucking mouth. And then Chris Rock cowered back. I just want to put this behind me. This is ridiculous. And then his brothers was like, I want the smoke. I want the smoke. I want, but never approached Will Smith. Hollywood is not that big. I've been there. I have a child that's been there. I have a friend that currently lives there as a working actor. Okay? Okay. So now, after all this time has elapsed, to stay relevant, Chris Rock, you want to use colorism against the princess, Meghan Markle. Yes, they have several titles, but she is married to Prince Harry. So that makes her a what? And then you want to, once again, keep Jada Pinkett Smith's name in your mouth because you got rejected. And for all of you piss poor ass black men, yeah, I'm talking to you. If it don't apply, let it fly. That is into my Chris Rock for the win. In what part of the culture is throwing rocks and hiding your hands a win? Now, Chris Rock, Will Smith, and I, we're all from the same generation. We are Gen X through and through, baby. We are from that throw hands generation. That I'm getting off the bus at your bus stop, whooping your ass and walking home generation. That act up, get bucked up generation, okay? That I hit that bitch with a motherfucking bottle generation, okay? That nook if you buck generation. But y'all think I'm playing? I always bring the receipts. Sit back, get comfortable, and watch this buffoonery. Because Chris Rock, for far too long, has been the chairman and CEO of the Coontastic Coalition. He will sit in a room full of white folks and let them call him the N-word and laugh his little ass off. This the same man that got his daughter kicked out of school. Gonna put out a documentary about good hair, but ain't never. This is why everybody hates Chris.
So I'm just going to say this and then I'm going to go to bed. This is why so many black women were defending Will Smith. This is why. And if you are not black, if you do not have type 4 hair, if you are not a black woman, I don't care about your opinion. I don't care about the issues you've had with your family. You do not get to project that onto Will Smith. And I will say this and mean it for the rest of my life. Chris Rock deserved that shit.
Will Smith practices selective outrage. Practices selective outrage. Because everybody knows what the fuck happened. Everybody that really knows I had nothing to do with that shit. I didn't have any entanglements.
So Will Smith has asked you on more than one occasion to keep his wife's name out of your mouth, and you just can't seem to do it. So if he gets slapped again, you know whose problem that is. That's a him problem. That is a him problem. And something just tells me that nothing is in the audience but white people, just like he was sitting around all them white people letting them say the N-word. Like, that's what it gives.
And regarding how Gary with the T would say it, the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, he said, and I quote, she won the light skin lottery. Therefore, she should not be surprised at the racism she receives from the royal family. I thought you wanted to put this shit behind you. I thought you was about that life. See, this is why everybody hates your ass. You're pandering for a paycheck. See, he's the OG passport bro. Even though he didn't have to leave the country, you don't want somebody that's going to check you. You don't want iron to sharpen iron. You want colorism, good hair, and good standing with white folks. Let me explain something to you, Chris Rock. You got a resurgence because of a strong Black woman. You're here because of a Black woman who was begot by a Black woman, who was begot by a Black woman, who was begot by a Black woman, who was begot by a Black woman. You have freedoms because of Black women. And see, Black women, the Eve gene carriers that we are, come in all shades, colors, sizes, fashions, factions. But let's be real. Without us, where would you be? See, you are no different than stank taint Vienna sausage in the undercarriage Andrew Tate and Kevin Samuels. You get rejected once by some woman that you feel is the ultimate prize. And I'm sorry, whoever deals with Chris Rock and men like this, baby, look in the mirror and reclaim who you are. Because if you are going to settle for him still pining away, obviously, and publicly for another woman, baby, sit down, sit back, and shut the fuck up. Because that is below hell self-esteem. Couldn't be me. Could not be me. Chris is giving Hailey Bieber vibes. Cause if this coon were mine, I would place him 6 feet below us. He's been so treacherous to me. If this coon were mine. So stop defending him. And let's not forget that recently, Chris Rock came out and said that he watched the recent Will Smith film just so he could see Will Smith get beaten, forgetting that it was a historical film. See, this is why we mean all skin folk and kinfolk. I would say get your teacups and get your flashes ready, but this motherfucker seems to be very comfortable where he's at. So leave him where he sits. Leave Sambo where he's at. As a matter of fact, get him a ticket to CPAC, especially since they're doing this at CPAC, y'all.
The perverts who use the names of Washington and Lincoln to buy millions of dollars in ads to say bad, libelous, and incorrect things about us.
I mean, I thought it was the perfect song in the background. Yeah, fuck Donald Trump. Oh, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, fuck Donald Trump. But CPAC is about as packed as a Trump University graduation. I guess they should have rolled back out the golden Trump statue. Now, if you remember last night, I brought y'all the latest on Rachel Dolezal 2.0. But baby, there's more. There's always more. There's always more. Take a look.
How many of you remember Rachel Dolezal? Yeah, that was the woman that was just as white as she could possibly be, pretending to be black, and even being head of an NAACP chapter. Well, we have a new Rachel. I want you guys to meet Raquel Saraswati. Her mama call her Rachel. Rachel Elizabeth Sitdown is the Chief Equity, Inclusion, and Cultural Officer of the Philadelphia-based American Friends Services Committee, which fights violence, inequality, and oppression. She converted to Islam, which isn't the problem. But since she converted to Islam, she has been telling everybody for years that she is of Latin, South Asian, and Arab descent. Even appeared on Fox News as an Arab/Islam expert. If you can believe it. Well, of course you can, because Fox News is not news. It's just Fox Entertainment for conservatives. And her mother says she is as white as the driven snow. Her mother has provided the Ancestry.com DNA analysis to a certain website and showed pictures of young Rachel Elizabeth when she was a spry little white girl at 7, 8 years old. So when you hear black people talk about cultural misappropriation, this is what they're talking about. When you have people like Rachel Dolezal, George Santos pretending to be Jewish, and Rachel pretending to be Raquel and Arab, you're going to find this a lot more. As this country becomes more and more diverse, some white people, not all, some white people are going to feel like they don't matter. In some cases, they're going to rebel like some in the GOP are doing. And in other cases, they're going to think they can assimilate whatever culture they want to roll into. Some are going to believe that they can just put on makeup or get a tan and just become whomever they want to become. What do you think?
It's profitable to be oppressed if you're white. It's profitable to be marginalized if you're white, because they flip-flop back and forth to what they've learned while they were sitting comfortably in their privilege, because they can blackface and they can minstrel show out in public for whatever time period that they are comfortable with doing, and then they can go home and be white again. They can go home and wash off that tan. They can go home and let it subside and still get that proper home loan or refinance their home and get that HELOC. But we're seeing it more and more and more. And what kills me are the sycophants from that are brown, black, indigenous people of color that back these people wholeheartedly. Even when siblings have come out and said, no, we got the same mama and daddy. They white. Even when birth certificates have been thrown out and shows they're white. See, everybody every day is talking about don't conflate nationality, ethnicity, and race until you like somebody. Then all of a sudden they're doing so much for the community. But when you really look at what they're doing, what are they doing? They are predominantly attacking the women of the ethnicity that they are cosplaying. And see, they attack us because they know that they're faking the funk, and they know that we clocked them a long time ago. And you see how we that are melanated get told not to gatekeep everything. Oh, you're doing too much. You reaching. You ain't got to gatekeep this. This is supposed to be shared. You see how this woman converted and became Muslim and decided she was the utmost authority on being Muslim. She was the utmost authority being marginalized. And there are plenty of white people who have converted to Muslim. Just like there are plenty of black people who have converted to Judaism, but you don't hear them acting like they're the utmost authority and let me teach you. Let me. Mm-mm. See, we went from passe blanche to passe negra. Hmm. Hmm. But from one, I'm so oppressed white person to the next.
I love any man who can get nailed for 3 days straight and come back for more.
I've never understood this. You appear to be asking a pseudo-genuine question. You don't understand it. Let me help. Jesus, the central character of the second part of a questionable narrative in a specific religion, has now been weaponized in the West to act as a cover story for those that would attack the LGBTQ community, women, other religions, other cultures, to undermine their very rights, their human rights, their rights to exist, their rights to live. You suggested you have friends in that community. I would imagine if you are a friend of Jesus and a friend of them, there is a bit of a contradiction going on there, sir. This comment was on a video I did earlier this evening in response to a very, very popular Englishman who's a fan of American culture, Josh. A little bit manic in his delivery, for my taste, but very, very popular. Millions of followers. And he'd chosen to do a TikTok that was attacking a drag act for making a joke about Jesus. And it just seemed a little bit out of character. He makes videos about the size of restaurants and the size of countries and alligators. This just seemed a bit weird to me. So I thought, let's have a look. So a couple of months ago, he announced to all American men that he likes American women and he's going to come to America, and mentions getting a green card. Going a little further back, he's not a fan of the present president. And yet a few videos later, he professes he doesn't understand American politics whilst duetting a video where a lot of young people outside a gym profess their preference for Trump. Then there was a rather mocking video of somebody who announced they were gay and he said, like we didn't know. Earlier this year, this hat started to make a showing. Then he professed his opinion that Reagan was one of the best presidents ever. Then he announced that he was shocked to learn that North Korea had property in the UK. Whilst again reinforcing his love of country music, I noticed that there was a cross around his neck from the beginning of this year on an awful lot of videos. So what on earth am I getting at? Before I moved solely into IT, I spent 20 years in branding and brand management. That young man, who does some incredibly funny, innocently cultural video comparisons between the UK and America, has 4 million followers. So come with me for a moment on a little conspiracy theory. He's coming to America in April, professing his love of Reagan, his preference of Trump over Biden apparently, and now doing TikToks advocating for Christianity versus the LGBTQ community.
Yeah. Mr. English Josh says that he has friends in the LGBTQIA plus community, then puts out that video, which is extremely tone deaf because the vast majority of his videos are, it's not just him specifically appreciating American culture, it's him appreciating Black American culture, but trying to erase the Black from that culture that he's enjoying. Like if you go through and look at his Popeyes series, but it's okay when there are hundreds of thousands of jokes regarding every other religion or people who choose not to subscribe to any religion all over the internet every day. And he was, but I love you. I am a PK. I'm a pastor's kid. I don't get offended. I don't get offended. I have my own jokes. If you grew up in the church and you don't have jokes, baby, you're brainwashed. You've shut off your critical thinking. I know you are not over here snoring like a grown-ass man. I'm sorry. I got distracted by Sir Puppers. Now, Josh has already visited the United States a handful of times because I like to keep an eye on certain people. You know. But you say you enjoy cultural foods, but you don't go to the people whose food it's cultural love. It's just like when Gordon Ramsay had a show where he's supposed to be going all around the globe to, have people teach him their cultural foods. Now, when he was on the continent of Africa, of course, he had a black woman there, but then he went to Creole country, and it was a white man. He went to Hawaii, white man. Y'all catch what I'm putting down? Just like the only case of a hate crime in Hawaii right now. You know what? We'll talk about that on another day. Before we get into the GOP and drag, let's lighten the mood. Let me show you some black girl magic. Black girl magic. Yes, mama. Yes. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. And on that note, I want to let you all know this Tuesday, I will be re-recording the introduction piece to the Black history of the White House. I had recorded it and put it up here on this platform. It was taken down. There's somebody that keeps reporting it, and their VPN says that they're in Russia. So certain things are coming down. That's why I said I'm going to move it to Patreon, but it will be affordable. I don't want y'all to think I'm trying to rake your pocket. No, it will be very nominal. But I'm going to re-record that first episode over again on Tuesday here on this channel. But it's that black girl magic, that black. Like I said, She is Strength. Get your She is Strength merch at tazisms.com. And remember, Afterpay is available. So that means if you don't have all the money right now, you can make payments. No minimum required. But the GOP and drag, baby, it's the hypocrisy, the hypocrisy. It flows from them so easily. Truth where? Truth where? Whoo, I keep telling y'all, they're projecting. Take a look. From my favorite, well, one of my favorite women on the app. Yes, they are a trans woman. They don't have to present the way that you want them to present, because I'm a cis woman and I don't even always present the way society tells me to present. So show some respect. Ew.
Tennessee Governor Bill Lee just made it a felony to dress in drag in public. This is Bill in his 1977 high school yearbook dressed in drag. Texas Congressman Nate Schatzlin just authorized a bill that would restrict drag performances and defines any venue that hosts drag performances as a sexually oriented business. Which is interesting because then that would mean that he's a felon for performing sexual acts in public. Yup, that is Nate in drag. Oh, and Josh Mandel called Drag Queen Story Hour child abuse, but here's him in his yearbook in drag. Donald Trump fueled anti-drag rhetoric, but he has a skit where he motorboats Rudy Giuliani in drag. And Arizona Republican Carrie Lake has been outspoken about drag queens performing for children. But that didn't seem to be an issue when she was taking makeup tips from drag queens, or hanging out with the girls, whom she invited into her home to perform in front of her elementary school child. Y'all have no issue taking your kids to bars and telling them to kiss bartenders, or taking them to Hooters, or calling them future ladies' men. But you draw the line at reading a book in makeup.
It's the hypocrisy that flows so easily. Look there, they do it everywhere. Well, I'm going to take this party train over to TikTok, and you can feel free to ask me whatever you want to ask me over there. As always, I'm going to open it up for an hour, and also, as always, each one teach one, each one reach one.
Let's go. Well, I'm feeling like a winner because I'm free. I ain't gotta walk around as an inmate. And I've been off the scene for a minute, but I'm back. In the fact is I'm great. Couldn't wait for the parole board to go and give me a release date, February 28th. Now I'm home on the phone 24, trying to capitalize and get moved out south. I'm about to take advantage of every opportunity I can manage and do more damage than I have ever done. I'm capable of lyrically assassinating a hater. I fascinate him for the hell of it. I make it fun. You don't want to run up on the one that's in the Hummer with 100 motherfuckers, all Louisville sluggers. Ain't there one of us no suckers. Ain't there one of us no busters. All hustlers. Yeah, I got it.